Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made for the fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair. All topics are for entertainment purposes only. None of the information presented in this video or by B-Girl TV should be taken as fact. Every situation is based on personal experience. Pretty Image Boutique is located in the Centro Comercial de los Pueblos Mall, located in Panama City, just 15 minutes away from Tocumen Airport. We specialize in hair care, wig extensions, and much more. Come visit us. Pretty Image Boutique is located in the Centro Comercial de los Pueblos Mall, located in Panama City. Hey y'all, what is going on? Hi everybody, and welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are on Instagram, we are live on YouTube at Big Girl TV, and then all my peoples that is on YouTube. Hi y'all! Oh my God, yeah! So glad to be here. Let me see where everyone is logged in from. All right, so shout out to people on YouTube for checking in. Shout out to everybody on Facebook that is checking in on this live stream. Everybody on Twitch. Thanks, girl. And everybody that is on Instagram. For those of you who are Instagram, you guys know that I am a YouTube kind of girl. So we are on YouTube checking in on the live stream. So make your way on to YouTube. All right, everybody, what's up? What is going on, everybody? Hi. Okay, in the comment section, let me know where you guys are checking in from. Thanks, Lorraine, girl. Thank you. Let me know where you are checking in from, my peoples on YouTube. We have so much to talk about because, Panama is not a real place, yo. Panama is not a real place. Alabama in the house. Shout out to Alabama in the building on YouTube. Who else is in the building? Let me know. I know a lot of you are like, I didn't announce that I was just going to go live. I just randomly did it because I am home alone. My baby is hanging out with her grandmother today. So I said, you know what? Why not go on live on YouTube? So here we are, my people. We're live on YouTube. And plus, I haven't been on YouTube in a hot minute. So that is why we're doing this today. Okay. All right, guys. So first and foremost, before we get into this, you guys know how I give it up or whatever, right? So we have to plug in Rum and Brunch weekend. Well, before we go into Rum and Brunch weekend, Rum and Brunch is actually tomorrow, y'all. It's the first Sunday. And honestly speaking, we didn't even know if we were going to even pull this off because of the protests and all this. But is dwindling down. So we are lit this weekend. We are celebrating the 5th of November. And for those of you who do not know, the 5th of November is actually pretty special to me because it's actually Kalung Day. And that is where my family is from. So we are all going to be patriotic tomorrow when red, white, or blue tomorrow. And for those of you who don't have red, white, or blue, just make sure you have a Panama flag with you because we are representing. It is Fiesta Patria. And so we are getting lit tomorrow. Okay. And for those of you who are checking in on the replay, because I know I did not let anybody know that I was going live, I just popped up on here. You guys are visiting Panama and you want to know what events is going on. So again, this is what you have to do. Hold on. All right. So guys, share the screen with you. Oh my God, hold on. Okay, so you don't have to break it down for you guys, especially for the people that watch on the replay. It's always really for the people that watch on the replay. All right, so you're going to go to www.vgirltv.com. And as you can see on the main screen, we have Rum and Brunch Weekend, which is 4 days, 5 nights of events. Okay. With the last event being it's Sarani. Just in case you ever guys, everyone's really excited for that event. But that's the last event, which is the Rum and Brunch Deluxe Edition. So you guys can go online and get your tickets now. But we're having literally like a whole bunch of events from the Thursday all the way to the Sunday. So there's literally an event every single day. So if you're going to be in Panama that weekend, or if you're looking for a weekend to be in Panama MLK weekend, y'all, because it's literally going to be an entire freaking vibe. All right. So for those of you who are visiting in December, the December calendar is not completely up, but we still have events posted. Um, but we're in November still, so you guys can still check to see, what events are going on the time that you're going to be there, right? So let me make sure that we're still okay. Yeah, here we go. All right, so you go to the events tab, and as you can see, when you look at the dates where it says plus more, basically that is that we have events scheduled on that day. Now, I just want to make it clear that I have not completely completed the calendar. There's still stuff that's missing on the calendar. So just keep checking periodically because events will be up shortly. Okay. So we have Rum and Brunch, which is tomorrow. Hello, Rum and Brunch is going to be super lit. And then we have our weekly, which is our karaoke and our urban beats Fridays, which was canceled last week because of the protest. And then we have our itinerary for Rum and Brunch weekend in January. And I want you guys to know that included in this weekend is touring. You guys can choose the tour options that you want. You can do zip lining, you can do the Panama City tour. We're adding more tours on there. There's a Sound Blast tour also, but that's like a whole day tour that we're going to add up there as well. And then we have a reggae retro party, a catamaran party, an all white party, and of course, you guys know the Rum and Brunch Deluxe Edition featuring a live performance by Mr. Sarani. Okay. And so if you don't know who Sarani is, don't play yourself because everybody knows who Sarani is. Okay. Some of you guys be getting out of pocket. Go on Google and look up Sarani. You know the song because if you're from New York, Hot 97 ran the song down to the ground. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's see. I think we're done here with the explanations. Shout out to Maritza from Florida. All right, so that is the rundown of the events that we got so far going on for November and December, okay, and January. All right, let's get into the elephant in the room. So the last live we were talking about, it was pretty much, Panama shut down and all that stuff. I honestly really did not really base any content really around it. I posted whatever I posted on Instagram. So for those of you who follow me on Instagram, you know what I posted. But I really didn't center any, content based around any of that on my YouTube channel. And I know people are probably like, well, why didn't I? Why? Because I don't do things for views, clicks, or likes. Okay. 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 I just didn't want to do that, honestly speaking. And, the internet is free. You guys could see what was going on. And plus, I did when it first happened, I did like a live on it because while it was happening, things were transpiring at the moment. One of the videos I did delete because I didn't want to get copywritten on YouTube. Not copywritten. I didn't want to get any strikes on YouTube, so I had to take down the video because it was like graphic stuff that was on there. But I took down that video and then I made a follow-up video on it because I kind of left abruptly and people were like, "What the hell happened?" So, and then that video is still up. But for the most part, Panama is still it's getting better. It's definitely not what it was a week ago. Which is good. And then there's great news that is coming out of the Asamblea, which I really don't want to get into all of that on the channel right now. I want to keep it positive. I don't want to keep it like too dark because we experienced a whole week of darkness, right? And so we need light. So I'm here to talk about positiveness right now. And so yeah, I didn't want to, just to sum it up or whatever, I didn't want to make any content really based around what was going on really because I didn't want it to be clickbait, you know? So I hope you guys understand that. Uh, I guess maybe if I did more clickbait stuff, my channel would be a lot bigger, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to do that type of stuff. So anyway, there is no I know I said I don't want to talk about it too much, but I just want to say that we don't have no lettuce, y'all. There's no lettuce or tomatoes in the grocery store. Okay? There's no lettuce or tomatoes in the grocery store at this moment because of the protests. But that's neither here nor there. Positive vibes, right? Because tomorrow is rum and brunch and we are about to have a wonderful time. We were locked down for so long. A week was so long. It's time to be outside. We need to be outside. We celebrating this Fiesta Patria. Okay. Okay, so what else is new, guys? You know what's happening right now? Everybody is now. See, this is the thing I don't like about black people. Why do black people wait to the last minute for everything? Why? Why? This whole time we were talking about rum and brunch, and now people are messaging me asking me about rum and brunch. Why y'all do that? Why? Why? Sorry, y'all. Rum and brunch is gonna be so good tomorrow. I mean, last it's always good. Okay, rum and brunch is always good. It's always a vibe. They're asking me if there's gonna be food at rum and brunch this time. Of course, rum and brunch is gonna have food. That's the whole purpose of rum and brunch. Rummin, the liquor part of it, and then the brunch, which is the food part of it. So rum and brunch is always going to have food. My chef is actually going to kill me because he just left me a whole message just now that I'm not listening to. He probably is on live right now, and I'm ignoring him. But rum and brunch is definitely going to have food for those of you who are asking if there is going to be food. Yes. The answer is yes. Rum and brunch will have food. So if you are interested in getting your food, okay, let me make it a voice note. If you want the food, let me know so I can send you the link to pre-order your food. Yeah, and you guys' tickets, you can get them online at $10 and $35, which is the premium tickets, which includes food and drinks. So you guys can go online now and get it for those of you who are in the live asking me about rum and brunch right now. But we have a special DJ we have a guest DJ from out of New York City that will be playing at Rum and Brunch. It's DJ Rigo. And honestly speaking, Rigo Suave, it's actually pretty special because he is also Panamanian American, and he hasn't been to Panama in like 16 years. So he's actually going to grace Rum and Brunch with his presence tomorrow, which is great because he's actually the first DJ outside of Panama that's actually playing at this event. Because we never ever have any DJ from outside. It's always a DJ from Panama that is always playing. And so like kind of like what I wanted to do is eventually, I don't even know if I should be telling you guys what my plan is, but whatever. I trust you guys, right? Um What the plan is to make rum and brunch so big that when people visit, they want to come to rum and brunch. They know that, okay, when we go to Panama, there is a rum and brunch. We wanna make sure that we're at rum and brunch. That is the plan. And a lot of people do know about rum and brunch. Rum and brunch is getting bigger and bigger per event, which is a blessing. So thank you to you guys, my subscribers, the people who signed up for the mailing list and don't get tired of my emails and don't be annoyed with the emails, and just you guys for even sharing that this is something that is happening in Panama. The whole point is for people to know, like, there are things to do in Panama. A lot of people come to Panama like, oh my god, it's so boring, there's nothing to do. Well, there is things to do, you just don't know about it. So tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that we have something called rum and brunch. It's a Afro-Caribbean experience in Panama, the only 100% Afro Caribbean experience in Panama that you're going to get. It is full English. So yeah, so let everybody know that this is happening. Okay. Rum and brunch is it. The only thing that I will say though is that you guys have to be like paying attention to social media, because rum and brunch is not always going to be at the same place, right? And so I don't want people to think, and that's another thing, people think that I own a club. I do not own a club. Okay. Rum and brunch is held at locations, different locations, depending on the weather, right? And so November, it rains a lot. So we can't have it at the rooftop because it rains so much. And it's kind of an inconvenience to have to move the party from the rooftop to another space because of the weather. So, being that I know that it's going to rain and it rains a lot in November, I decided to keep rum and brunch in a different location, which is an indoor location, because of the rain. Okay. So, don't think that, you're going to go to the same spot over and over and over and over again if you're going to go to rum and brunch, because that is not the case. We do not have one specific location where we're going to be at all the time because of the weather situation. And then Panama is like always raining. The rain is like, some days it rains, then it rains for 5 minutes, and sometimes the rain is really, really hard. So it's hard to really like tell. But we do know that in November it rains a lot. In November it rains a lot, and in May it rains a lot. December, January, and February are both are all dry season, so it doesn't rain as often, which means that rum and brunch will be kept outside, because those months, I'm sorry, are typically dry season, right? So I hope I have given you guys a little bit of clarity on rum and brunch and the locations and all of that good stuff. Okay, and another thing, rum and brunch is something that I also created to give employment to people, especially people creatives, which means like photographers, the DJs, the venue owners, um, what else? The chef. All these events give opportunities to creatives, people that don't necessarily have a 9 to 5 job, and so they depend on these events. They depend on my events. And so I'm grateful to be able to give people the opportunity to share their creativity with everyone, and we're all just literally like a team. And I'm glad that I was able to build such a solid team. Like, my team is so lit, and when I say my team is so lit, I mean my team is so lit. All right. And we're still building. So if you know anyone that has some sort of creativity, or you feel that that person is able to add something to rum and brunch to create it, to make it bigger, please send them in my directions. Let them know, send the information to me or whatever. We're looking for honest people, especially for rum and brunch weekend. Rum and brunch weekend is going to be extremely huge. It's going to be a big event, and of course you need more people on the team. So if you know anyone that is looking for an opportunity to be a part of a team, and that's looking for an opportunity to be part of um an entertainment company, because y'all know your girl got her business license. Okay, your girl got her business license. um Send them my way. Send them my way because 2024 B Girl TV Media Entertainment, I won. I won good. So, yes. Let me know, y'all. Anyway, guys. All right. So, there's something that I wanted to talk about. Right. Let me see if I could find it. If I still have it. I had screenshotted it just specifically to talk about this on YouTube. So let me look for the screenshot. I should have like saved it so we could have got to it fast. And okay, here it is. Okay. So hold your horses, y'all. Hold your horses because this is deep. So a lot of times when I make videos, a lot of my videos, the ones that did really, really well, they were done like 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. They weren't done like yesterday. So somebody wrote this under the video. And so for all my Panamanian people, my Panamanian people, I need for you guys to listen to this and just listen. And I want you guys to think about what feedback you're going to give. So the person writes, this video was produced 3 years ago. So here is my experience in 2023. As a Black man living in Panama for 4 years now, I can say it definitely is major racism here. I can say it. No, wait. Now I can say it's definitely major racism here. The majority of Panamanians here tolerate us and don't celebrate us. I've walked into a room full of Panamanians and they will stare at you but won't speak or even smile. I stepped into an elevator and spoke to a Latin woman who literally who literally ignored me, but when a Latin man stepped in on the elevator and spoke, she spoke. This happened on a daily basis. The government here welcomes us. That's why they have a friendly nations visa, but they forget to tell people of the nation to actually be friendly. So, my experience as a Black man in Panama in 2023, I would give a resounding yes, there is racism, discrimination, and pure rudeness in Panama. And let me say, you shouldn't have to go up in the mountains of the interior of Panama to be welcome. I personally have been visiting Medellin, Colombia, where I feel far more welcome than I've ever felt in Panama. To summarize it all, Panama sucks. The humidity is unbearable. Okay. The humidity is unbearable. The people are rude. The prices for everything is going up more and more. Everything is complex and confusing. Most works, most workers, I guess what that he was trying to that's what he was trying to say, are lazy, and their answer is no mostly immediately when you ask for something, and it's just not a language difference, more of an intelligence difference. In other words, he's calling the Panamanian stupid. My suggestion, my suggestion, visit but don't stay. It's developed like America in terms of physical structure, but once you get boots on the ground, you find it hard to even find someone with a reasonable level of intelligence. Again, just this Black man's experience. So, what do you guys think about that? I want to hear what you guys' opinions are on what this guy said, what he wrote. Um, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about it before I give my commentary. Yeah, let me know. Let me know. Let you guys gather your thoughts so you can write in the comment section. What do you guys feel about this guy's comment? And then I'm gonna tell you what I think about it. So while you guys get your comments together and you guys start typing, um, okay, well, Holly wrote it, so I was gonna give you guys a little commercial break. But Holly says, "While he was unhappy, my suggestion is learn Spanish, be humble and open-minded." Okay, so just to piggyback off of what um Holly said, I find, okay, and I know I've said this before, I find that a lot of people, Not all, because I don't want to generalize, but a lot of people, when they come from Western cultures, no matter you are, what race you are, there is a sense of entitlement. There is a sense of entitlement. Let's start with the whole racism thing. No matter where you go in this world, there are racist people. There is literally no place on earth that you can walk around as a black person or any other person and never experience racism. And so I need everybody to be clear. I don't know why people feel like, oh, they're going to come to Panama and they're not going to experience racism. I've never, ever, ever once said that Panama doesn't have racism. America has racism. Every country has racism. Okay. If it's not towards a black person, it's towards what uh, other religious groups, I guess. But racism exists every single place that you go. So don't come here thinking that Panama is going to be every difference. What I did say was that me personally, I have not experienced it to the level that I've experienced it in the US. So we're not going to sugarcoat anything, okay, and make it seem like, okay, like the US isn't notorious for racism. That is what I said. I personally haven't experienced it to the level of what, goes on in the US, and my kids haven't experienced. I experienced racism at I was in second grade when I first experienced racism when I was called a nigga, okay? A nigger, sorry. I was called that. It was a group of us in the schoolyard, and a man, drove his car and screamed out, "You little niggers!" Okay, and that was my first experience at racism in the U.S. In Panama, I have not experienced that. My kids have not experienced that. I don't know if other people experienced it. I have not experienced it, but to say that racism doesn't exist in Panama will be dumb for me to say because racism is literally everywhere. Now, one of the things that I will say though, from people from especially people of color, sometimes people of color are no better than, you know, non-people of color from Western cultures. The sense of entitlement sometimes that come from Western people sometimes can be a bit much. Like you expect too much. Okay. And that's just my honest opinion with dealing with people. And I'm not even gonna lie and say like when I first came for good, it wasn't like a culture shock. And even though, my family is Panamanian, I am Panamanian, obviously. When you visit Panama and you go back home, it's completely different when you actually live here. And you are like, I know people right now that they're Panamanians but live someplace else and they're having extreme culture shock for that same reason. You barely see black people out and about in malls, Costco, Viejo, etc. That's a form of racism. You don't see black people out because they stick to themselves. Black Americans, okay, and I'm gonna just call it a spade, stick to themselves. So this is how it works. And if I wish somebody was here and to tell me I'm wrong. Black Americans, when they come to Panama, not only Black Americans, just Americans, people, they stick to themselves. They create a group, and that group that they stick with is who they stick around. They stick around, okay, and they plan their functions, and they're the only ones that go to their functions. They don't plan functions for other people. So I don't know about that. Black people acting like colonizers when they travel. Exactly. Could it be the racism experience could be a residue left from the US influence there? Just a thought. Never been to Panama. It could be. Well, actually that makes a lot of sense because when the Americans were in Panama and the people came to build a canal, it was Caribbean people that most I'm not going to say everyone was Caribbean, but they mostly was from places like Jamaica, Barbados, Guadeloupe, Trinidad, different places. They had a silver gold system, and so that also was a part of racism. And they also introduced Jim Crow laws here in Panama. So that can definitely be well can be true as well. It could be a residue, but the thing is that there's so many people in Panama that are mixed with different races, and sometimes they're mixed with black. Believe it or not, I know someone that is mixed, and she looks like she is just white, but her mom is a black woman, and you will not know. I'm talking about black Panamanians. I've seen black Panamanians in the mall today. I went to the mall today and I seen black Panamanians in the mall. So I don't know what you're talking about. And I also specifically said not all black Americans, but a lot of black Americans are this way. They don't want to hang out with anybody else but themselves. And I'm telling you this from my personal experience. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. They hang out with themselves. They create events specifically for themselves. They create groups specifically for themselves. It's not a very few. It's a lot. It's not a very few. It's not. It is not. Again, this is not all black Americans that are this way, but many black Americans are this way. For example, I know I spoke about this like before, like a lot of times people when they go to smaller Caribbean islands, they talk down on the local people. Let me tell you something. A liar is not what I am. Never been a liar, and I always keep it real. I am not lying. Black Americans keep to themselves in Panama. I am not lying. I've been here for damn near 10 years, and ain't nothing lying. I'm not lying about a goddamn thing. Hi, Bedina. There's nothing for me to lie about. Sometimes the truth hurts, and sometimes when you're in it, you don't see what people see on the outside looking in, but that's what it seems like. And I wish my homegirl was in this live right now because she would tell you that is true. A lot of times they go to small little Caribbean islands and they look at the girl who fought the damn lady in Jamaica, the worker. Keep to themselves how? Like they segregate themselves, they create groups to be amongst themselves. And they don't include everybody, they don't include other people. And again, this is not everybody, but a lot of them are that way. We're talking about a situation that happens, and yes, Black Americans are included in this because the person who was talking about racism is obviously a Black American. So that's how we got. That's that. Okay, this person clearly has a problem. I do see Black Panamanians everywhere. The census results stated more people identify as Black as of having African heritage than in 2010. Americans in general tend to isolate themselves here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Dude, because of the comment. Like the person who wrote this was a Black American and specified that he was a Black American man. Like, are you kidding me right now? Stay focused on the conversation and stop making it something personal and making it seem like it's a personal attack against you. You are clearly a Black American and you are clearly feeling some type of way. Child, go someplace. No, we're not. We're talking about the man who left the comment, who is a Black American male who left the comment. That is how we started talking about Black Americans. Keep up. Keep up with the conversation. When did you get here? Yesterday? Because I'm quite sure you were not here for more than, and that's another thing. They come to Panama for here from like, they've been here for like a year, and everyone thinks not even a year, and everyone is a expert on what it's like living in Panama. Okay? You've been here for 0.2 seconds, and everybody becomes an expert on what it's like living in Panama. Please. I miss doing those lives. Yes, yes. Please. I think because of not being able to speak um fluent I think because of not being able to speak fluent Spanish. Honestly, like I don't really get it because even if you don't speak fluent Spanish, like people like for example, obviously I speak fluent Spanish, right? Okay, you can go to hell. This is what we're going to do to you. Bye. That's where you could go. We're going to put you on timeout. Um um yeah, so I don't think it's because of them. I don't know if it's not because of them not being able to speak fluent Spanish. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I have no idea. But one of the things which is like to me like is crazy is that people really will go out of their way to speak English. Like I have all like people who follow me. I have people that are Panamanian that follow me on Instagram, and I have people that are not Panamanian that is not on Instagram. I mean, people that follow me are Panamanian and people that are Panamanian that don't speak English. And they're trying to learn English, and people that do speak English that follow me on Instagram. And on Instagram, everything that I write is in English. And so they still comment to me. They will still talk like normal, or they would even try. Like, even I went to the mall today, right? And obviously, they look at me and they're like, okay, she speaks English. Don't ask me. So the girl gives me a card and she shows me the card, and the card had like writing in English, like hello, something, something, something. And I'm like, ah, no, mami, yo hablo español. And she was like, ah, sí, tú hablas español. I said, yes, I speak Spanish or whatever. And she was like, oh, okay. And so she was so happy, but she was still trying to communicate with me in English. And even the guy that was like helping on the floor, he also was speaking to me English. He was trying. So I don't know. Maybe that is the case. I have no idea. I do not have time for trolls on here. Do not. Maybe it could be because of the of not being able to speak fluent Spanish. Okay, so anyway, so then he says hello from Twitch. So another thing he said that was always um most workers are lazy and their answer is no, mostly immediately when you ask something, and it's just not a difference. So I think everybody knows that Panama is very relaxed. Like, and I've always said this on all my videos, you know, everybody does everything on their own time. And so when you are moving to Panama, you have to know that everybody is very relaxed. And I said this numerous times on all my videos. I've made this very clear that the culture here is very relaxed. Everyone is like, okay, well, I'll get to it when I am actually in Panama. The culture here is very much, and I know people that are from other Caribbean islands, and it's the same way. I think it's just the Caribbean lifestyle. When you grow up in America or when you live in America, everything is very fast paced, unless you're from like the South, right? Because I feel like the South is a little bit different. You know what I mean? You attract diverse subscribers. Thank you. Maybe. I don't know. The South is a little bit different. And so for you to sit up here and call every single Panamanian person lazy, that's crazy to me. It's crazy. That's wild. It takes a while to make friends. So if that guy came for a short time and didn't adjust, it may have seemed like people were rude, but it was really his interpretation. Exactly. Like that's just the way it is in Panama. Is that exactly? Exactly, Forest last. Like America is so fast paced that everyone expects everyone to like jump and do things like, oh, I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna do this. It's not like that in Panama. It's not like that in Panama at all. So according to this, he said that he was in Panama for what did he? I think he said like 5 years. No, 4 years. He's been living in Panama for 4 years. America is way too exactly. The rest of the world goes slower. Exactly. And I think that once you adjust, because in the beginning it was hard for me to adjust because I was always like, like moving, like especially if you're from New York. New York is always very much, but it's so like relaxed and so okay, that it actually makes me less stressed. Like I'm more stressed when I'm in the US than I am when I'm in Panama. And honestly, you just have to slow down. If you are unable to slow down, then you're gonna have a hard time here. And then on top of that, I'm not trying to be really judgy, but his name, the person's name on their YouTube name was like Dr. So and so was their name. So it was kind of like they want people to know that they are a doctor of whatever it is. And if they don't get addressed it as such, then you are not respecting them. That's what it was given off. Maybe I could be wrong, but again, it's all interpretation. I could be wrong, but that's what I got from the scenario, like looking into it and trying to like understand the logic. For the Europeans, it's like the Mediterranean Sea. They love siesta like a lifestyle. Exactly. So every culture is completely different. So if you are not able to like adjust, don't even come here. People work 6 days a week and get up early here. Are they lazy? They work hard. Oh, 4 years, that is a long time. I know, but you know what it is. And then the thing is, like, people like, oh well, in Colombia, like all the black men always talking about Colombia. When they go to Colombia, they get royal treatment and all these things. I'm gonna just keep my comment to myself as far as that is concerned. But I'm gonna just say passport bros. You want people to kiss your ass. That's what it's given. You want people to kiss your ass. They're not gonna do that. Honestly, I don't think anything less than 5 years to me is not really a long time. I don't. It's so crazy because when I first started my YouTube channel, literally there was nobody that looked like me that was making content about living in Panama at all. And now you turn around, it's everywhere. Everyone's doing it. It's literally like to me, I think it's just a trend. Now it's trending. Um, so there are people here on YouTube because actually we're streaming on YouTube and we're also streaming on Facebook. So there are people here on Facebook and obviously Twitch. And yeah, so that's who I'm talking to. I don't know if you can see the comments from other people. Child, everybody is an expert on Panama. They've been living in Panama for 2 seconds and now they're an expert. They know everything. If you're on Twitch, can you see the comments from other people or no? I just bought a place in Chorrera. I love Panama better than Doctor. It's more safe to me. You know, I think it's just a basically what type of lifestyle you want to live. Like there are certain areas that that they choose to live in, which is cool. But you cannot go in certain areas and be flossing and showing off on the people because you will be a target. And that's just common sense. Oh, then DR. Oh, Dominican Republic. Got you. You know what's so crazy? I've never been to Dominican Republic. Double, triple cast, and no, I don't see the other comments. I only see mine. Oh, okay, okay, okay. No, there's other people in here. That's crazy that you can't see other people's comment. You know, I've never been to Dominican Republic, and no offense to the DR people, but I've never really had no like, um, I don't know, like I've never really had any like. You know how there's some places that you want to visit and you're like, oh my God, I have to go there. I've never really wanted to go to DR. Oh, that's so sweet of you, Badina. Badina says to Crazy World, congrats. I have a buddy from Barbados, just moved to Costa Verde and Chorrera and just love it. I mean, let me tell you something. Me personally, this is just, oh God, wow. This is because of the excitement, too much excitement. Me personally, like, okay, everyone knows, all right, yeah, yeah, yeah. Everyone knows I'm Panamanian. So I may be a little bit biased, right? No, I'm still American also, guys, because I grew up in America. So whatever. I love living in Panama. Like I love it. Like I think Panama has so much to offer. Even like with the protest that was going on, people were like, "Oh, you can leave and you can go back to the States till everything calms down." I'm like, "Guys, like I literally went through the pandemic. Could you imagine going through the pandemic in Panama? I literally went through the pandemic and the pandemic was way worse than what we have going on right now. Way worse. The pandemic was literally crazy and I never left. I never left when it was a pandemic. And then, guys, I have a blue passport. I can travel. The American embassy was telling Americans that they could leave. They were giving them um what would you call those flights? Humanitarian flights to go back to the States. And I stayed the whole time. I wrote it out. So I'm not going anywhere. Yo amo mi Panamá. Amo mi Panamá y yo no voy a ir a ningún lado. Yo voy a quedar aquí hasta el final. Okay? So that's that. Yeah, Costa Verde is really, really nice. And the crazy thing about it is that there's so many other foreigners that feel the same way that I do. So I don't know. Maybe it is a cultural, I mean, not the cultural thing, the language barrier. Maybe it is a language barrier. I don't know. Let me know if you live in Panama and you don't speak any Spanish, maybe it's that. It sucked, the pandemic lockdown, but in Bocas is bringing back the pandemic vibes. No work, transport, or veggies. Hope the roads open up again. Oh my God, I heard, but I still see people. Well, so we don't have any vegetables either. We have no lettuce, we have no tomatoes, we have no onions, we have none of that. Um, but Bocas is really bad because everything gets imported. And then everything is getting like really expensive because of this whole blockade stuff. But guess what? I'm not going anywhere. I am not going anywhere. I mean, I may leave for vacation, but I'll be back though. Oh yeah, because in Bocas, everybody uses the water taxis to get from point A to point B, and there's no gas, right? Holly, I think that's why. I've been seeing people partying in Bocas though. DJ Fat has been throwing events and don't seem like anybody's bothered. So I'm kind of confused. I'm so hot. Where is my daughter? Bye. See you later. Hopefully, I'll be in Boca soon, so I'll check you in Bocas del Toro. Guys, you guys are gonna have to catch the replay on this live because I had to light into somebody box ass, ass for being fresh. I am in Panama City, La Ciudad. Guys, I gotta call my mother because you guys are gonna hear my mom. My daughter is with my mom, and she hasn't brought back my baby. By the way, my mom is born and raised. Hi, where are you? Where's Gia? Oh, oh, okay, I'm coming to get her. Now? Now? Bye. Sorry, y'all. So my mom is born and raised Panamanian. She is from Colón, which she's a little bit different. You know, Colón is more Caribbean vibes. You know, that's the Caribbean side of Panama. So that's where mom. That's why if you ever hear my mom talk, she does have an accent, and that's why she has an accent because she is from Colón. Really, I heard that they prepare well for emergencies. I have no idea. Bogus to me is like a whole nother world. Especially because if I want to go there, I mean, you can drive, but I'm not driving. Um, when I go to Bocas, I take a plane, so I have no idea. No clue. No clue. Oh my goodness, I'm so hot. All right, y'all. So I've been on live for 56 minutes and 38 seconds, which means that we're almost at an hour. And so, as you guys heard, I'm going to go pick up my baby from my mom's house because I miss my daughter. Cologne has nice beaches. Oh my God. Cologne has the best beaches. And I love Cologne's beach because the water is always very calm and just warm. Like it's not cold like the Pacific side. The water is always extremely, extremely rough. Like the last time we went to the beach, we went to Cocoa Beach, which was fun, but the tides was so rough I thought I was gonna die. I thought the ocean was gonna take me into the water. It was at that point that I realized that even though my son is a really good swimmer, I had to go send him back to swimming classes so that he can become a better swimmer, like to swim. Because you know, the pool swimming and ocean swimming is two different types of swimming. So I had to get him back into swimming again, to learn how to swim against tide water because the Pacific side is dangerous for me. So I prefer to stay in Cologne. I prefer Cologne beaches. Is there an end in sight for the protest? So basically, okay, I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but I'm gonna just give you guys a gist of what's going on. All right, so basically, everyone knows that Panama was protesting for the mines. It was a couple of things they were protesting. They don't want the mines in Panama. They also were fighting against corruption, government corruption, um, and they were fighting for how do you say it in English? The environment, right? And so basically the president approved, and I'm trying not to because I don't want to get banned because there's a lot of influencers that are getting banned for talking about this, okay? So the president signed this law into effect, along with I think it was like 47 actually, crazy world, I'm gonna get into that. Diputados, which is like what you would consider like a congress, like the congress people, they signed it or whatever as well. However, the supreme court already said that this contract was unconstitutional. So basically, what they did was they submitted the same contract, which was considered unconstitutional, and added some other stuff in there, which gave the mining company basically sold Panama basically access to a whole lot of things which didn't really make any sense. To be honest, I don't even think they read the contract because the contract was so messed up. Like it was crazy. So anyway, basically it went to debate on what's today? Today is Saturday. So the second debate was I think Thursday, right? If I'm the dates are wrong, correct me. But they went to the second debate to get that law removed. So what they wanted was to remove the law and get the mining company out, right? But the problem was is that what Panama was scared of is that if they erased the law or got the mining company out or whatever or breached a contract, that the mining company, which is a Canadian company, would then turn around and sue Panama, which would put the company in billions of dollars and having to pay the mining company. So basically, they were able to uh, project. Now, everything I'm saying, I'm translating it from Spanish to English because it's so much easier for me to just say it in English. I mean, in Spanish, but I understand that everybody doesn't speak Spanish. So basically, they put out a project, which is they put a project. That's what they want to call it, giving different scenarios on how they could terminate the contract without it being um what's the word infringing on the contract that was already done with the Canadian company or whatever. And so it had to be approved by the Congress people, which here they call them diputados, right? And so it went to the second debate on Friday. No, Thursday, it went to the second debate. It had to get to the third debate. Once it gets to the third debate, it had to be approved. So it went to the first one, it went to the second one, it had to go to the third one to get approved. So once that gets approved, it actually goes to the president. The president signs it, and then the Supreme Court is the one that is going to rule it unconstitutional, which they already had before they already had submitted it. It was already unconstitutional. And so everybody was kind of nervous because they was like, okay, if it goes to the third, the first one that they did, it went to the second one, and everybody was like, damn, now if it goes to the third one, we're going to get F. We're going to end up having to pay back the company, the mining company could sue. But they ended up dropping that one and picking up another one or whatever. And it went to the second debate. And then the president called an emergency meeting on that Friday, which to me was crazy because it was a holiday. And so I was like, damn, what's going to happen? So once it got to the third one, it got approved. And then they protested because they wanted to put pressure on the president for the president to sign it. And so the president ended up signing it. So now this is where it gets weird because so the president signed it. Now it's going to go to the Supreme Court. Now the Supreme Court has to take a minimum of 13 days to review all the documents, but people want them to do it now. And so that's the reason why people are still protesting, because they're trying to put pressure on the Supreme Court to file an unconstitutional right now at this moment. They don't want to work. They don't want to wait the 13 days. But technically, according to the law, the Supreme Court has 13 business days. Okay, they have a minimum of 13 business days or whatever to review it and to get to the case. Now, the other problem is that well, it's not really a problem, but there's, November is Fiesta Patria. So being that it's Fiesta Patria, there's so many holidays, right? So you got the second, you got the third, you got the fourth, you got the fifth, which fifth is a Sunday. So it's going to go over to the sixth. You have the 10th, you have the 28th, you have there's so many holidays in November, which makes it like, okay, the Supreme Court isn't going to be working on those days because technically it's a holiday. So unless they're just like, okay, you know what, because of this, we're going to work through the holiday, which I doubt is going to take a minimum of 13 days for them to even get to that. And so that's the reason why people are still protesting, because they want to put pressure on the Supreme Court to make it unconstitutional. So I hope that made I try to dumb it down as I could because honestly speaking, I am not a lawyer, okay? And so I'm just giving you the a gist of what's happening. Okay? And that mining company, hi, come on Instagram. I mean, not Instagram. Come on YouTube. And that mining company, though, like I've heard, I don't know this if this is true or not, allegedly, that this mining company also tried to do the same thing in Costa Rica, and Costa Rica wasn't having it either. And so, one of the things that I find, like, I went to the mining company's Instagram, and as I was going through the Instagram, I realized that they would go to a lot of these countries, like they're even in Africa. And so, they're in like random countries in Africa. And it's like poor countries in Africa. And they're digging and taking out all these, their minerals. And literally, I don't see any progress. I don't see them doing anything really for these companies. So I don't know. It's weird. Like I went and I did a whole investigation on Instagram, started clicking on pages and looking. And because one of the things that they claim is that they're doing this, and they're providing jobs for the Panamanian people. And again, this is all allegedly. Okay, don't take my word for it. You could do your own research. But me personally, I have went to the profiles of the other places where they're doing mining at, and it's a lot of it is like I don't see any I'm not seeing how these places are being developed because the Congo still look, I never been to the Congo, but you know, I'm just saying allegedly that's what they're saying. I've seen the pictures of the other places that they were like they had, business in, and the country still look underdeveloped. So I'm not really sure how the mining company is even. Child, I don't know. You need to go to their webpage, their Instagram page, because they wrote a whole bunch of stuff. Um, they wrote a whole bunch of stuff on Instagram. I'm gonna tell you what they said. Hold on. Sorry, my friends are sending me stuff. All right, so I'm gonna go to the company and I'm not even supposed to be talking. Okay, now they changed it. Okay, now they changed. Child, they are just like their Instagram is wild right now. Okay, they are just putting up a whole bunch of stuff on Instagram. So they wrote it in Spanish. So I'm gonna translate. So they said that they are happy to be contributing significantly in the economy of Panama and to create jobs and opportunity for employment um, for millions of Panamanians. I mean thousands, sorry. That's what they said. B girl, your nails always look good. Is your January weekend still on? Yes, my January weekend is still on. And thank you for the nail compliment. I didn't even realize that you noticed my nails. They said the pensions would increase 75% and the country would generate okay. The problem is that money that they claim that the company will generate is literally crumbs to what they are actually winning. I mean, the company is gaining billions and billions of dollars. So the 375 million that the country is supposed to get is literally, it's not even, this is what it is. Let me show you what that is. That's what it is. Do you see that dot? That's what it is. Um So Delano says bloodthirsty exploitations at their best in nature of corporations. See, Delano could really break it down to you because he's a lawyer and he's very involved in, what's happening. Our eyes are opening to all of this and it's for the best. Absolutely. Absolutely. So You guys are saying like, oh yeah, they're providing this, but it's literally dust, like dust to what they're actually gaining. That's like me saying, oh well, I'm gonna have $20 and I'm gonna give you a penny. No, 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 no. Don't do that. So a penny out of $20, like seriously, that's wild. I told y'all I was not going to get into this conversation. I didn't want to keep it dark. I wanted to keep it light. Like I really, really didn't want to get into it. So yeah, so that's basically what's going on. Honestly, Delano could give you more insight into this. So if you don't know who Delano is, Delano, I'm talking like Delano. The money started off as almost nothing, like 2%. It may be the parent company, but it sounded like sugar-coated predatory relationship. Okay, so yes, okay. So Donato says he's on Instagram, so I'm just gonna read what he's saying here, right? So he says there's a moral issue that stems from pollution in the world. Okay, so then this other, now that he brought this up, I also wanted to, let you guys know this part too, right? So I don't know if you guys know that the Panama Canal is low on water, because it hasn't been raining as much, right? So, um, so the city of Cologne is using a specific river along with the canal. They're getting their water supply from a river. And so now that this company, the mining company is there, it's actually pulling water resources from the Panama Canal and the city of Cologne, which is also another issue. So it's either the canal or the mining company. And me personally, like if I'm going to, this company is a private company, they're not really doing anything for Panama. It's not really benefiting Panama anyway versus the canal, right? And so the canal um would make more sense to to care more about the canal than this private company, just my opinion. I don't know what happened to the, you have to come on YouTube because you can't, people can't see you on here. You have to come on YouTube. Let me see if I can send you the link. Hold on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just email it to you. Hold on. Now we just going to a whole nother topic. I said I was not gonna talk about it today, but people brought it up. Hold on. What's your email again? It's coming up like it's not available. I'm doing it on my computer. No, no, no. I'm gonna send you the link. What's your email again? Delano. DELANOSQR 29@gmail.com. Okay, there it is. I just emailed you the link so you could join. Okay. Let me know if you got it. All right. So this is about to, guys, we about to turn this whole conversation into something else now, which, because now we're going to get Delano on this. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've been on here for an hour and 13 minutes. We only got 30 minutes left because I got to go pick up my baby. So you got it? You got the email? Hola. I don't know what happened to Delano. He's frozen. Let me call him because I don't know what happened to the to the live. Hold on. Y'all know I keep it real. So this conversation may not go as you guys want it to go. Oh no, because it froze on Instagram, so I don't know what the heck happened. Oh, okay. Bye. All right, guys. So Delano was gonna come in, and I said I would. Like I said I was not going to talk about this issue really, because I spoke about it enough on Instagram, and it was starting to like, I don't know what's the word I wanted to say. It was starting to take up so much of me, like emotionally. Like I was literally waking up, uh, watching everything on the news, like, and it was making me depressed. So that's why I said I wasn't going to talk about it. Not because, you know, and also I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't want this to be like clickbait. Like, like people do things for clicks and likes, and I'm not on that type of time. Like, if I do something, it has to be like genuine, and it has to be just. All right. So Delano's coming in. Let me see.
Hi, greetings.
Okay. We can hear you now.
Okay, greetings.
All right. So I kind of explained more or less like what was going on in my terms. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't you know, I can't
Well, hi, greetings to everyone. Thank you very much, um, V, for having me. And I think is very appropriate. What are you doing to bring awareness of why our people out there protesting, um, and all of the mishap, or I would say incommodation that they have given a lot of people, especially those that are visiting in Panama and those that are living here all over, as we would say, from coast to coast. Well, all of this started because of corruption by central office. We are speaking of Congress. We speaking that we have a president that he does not like to read. So because he does not like to read, he just signed things, and we are in this mess. If anyone knows that what a three debate is in order to pass a law through Congress, it takes minimum. Sometimes it can take 2 months, 3 months, but never 48 hours. Never, ever 48 hours. So in 48 hours, um, members of our Senate, they went and they approved this contract, and they extended the lifelong and gave so much power to Quantum Mining Company. This mining company is based in Canada, and the people from Donoso, which is in the province of Colon, been denouncing this company for the longest and showing all the irregularities that they have been doing when it comes to polluting the water, affecting the farms, affecting the way of life of the young youths, the children, and they, because of their power, the financial power that they was bringing to the area, and they was giving a lot of kickbacks. There was no way that they was gonna walk away that easy. First, they was operating under a illegality of contract. Now, there was one of our colleagues that explained that in everything you must pay taxes. So these taxes go by certified stamps. Each stamp, if they go for 35 cents to $1,
that's the
these
that's a timbre.
that's the timbre, absolutely. timbre. So these timbres, it shows consistency in renewal, but they didn't have any renewal. And the one that they did have will go under $1,000, showing that they didn't want to pay the taxes that they should have paid because they was paying under the table in order to get everything approved. So as they was getting approved, they was buying an acre for literally $10. So they kept gathering property and expropriating property from the farmers without the farmers knowing, because they are living under what you call public domain property, derecho posesorio, which in English will be just a person who is squatting. And because you squatting on government land, government can tell you you have to leave. Now, if you've been living on that property over 10 years, you have a right. Now, these folks have more than a right because they are not just squatter. These are people that are native.
You talking
And
about the people from Donoso?
yes, the people from Donoso. So they go beyond having a squatting right. So as they keep expropriating their property, they was doing it in a very strategic way because they did it under a contract. And this contract was not explained to Congress because they didn't want no explanation. They only wanted money. If you are placing $2, $3 million in the hand of a representative and a senator, and
Allegedly, we got to say allegedly.
allegedly, absolutely, allegedly, yeah, because it is that way. Thank you for the correction.
No problem.
But the people of Donoso, they are very, very fully aware of the magnitude of how much money they was putting inside of this property, and because of the material that they was pulling out without being detected. Because the people of Donoso themselves, they was extracting gold out of the mining area, but they was doing pan golding, mining. So when these people realized how wealthy the land was, they just needed to appropriate every single inch of the area of Donoso. So Congress went into what you call a kangaroo contract with them, putting the country in a halt. Now we find ourselves having the brothers and sisters of every walk of life putting their 2 cents into it and saying no to the mining, and we want to bring down the law that they enacted, which was the 406. Now they did bring in the 407, but it still have some loopholes that did not sit with our people, and that's why our resistance. Further, the president went and make an announcement that we want to put the resolution in the hand of the people in December 17, which is still does not sound right. All in a sudden, the president, he just have some health issues and he's going through with all kind of nausea because he never read what he was signing. Now, where
Allegedly.
allegedly, now where are the countries going right now? Well, tomorrow is November 5th. It's the big day of Cologne. Our province are still going to honor the Independence Day, but the strike will be felt, and it will be felt like it never felt before. Remember, Cologne is the threshold of the Panama Canal and every major port of this city, of the country. And the people of Cologne is coming out in full force. We are not trying to make any wrong statement, but have it clear. If they do not reverse this law, if they do not face the contract and the lawsuits that are about to happen, if they don't go into battle with the Supreme Court and hold accountable every single Congress that sell out the country, because they literally put all of us into debt. And if the country had any sign of building itself, they have just set us back maybe 20 years because they putting us back in a state of slavery. So we not having it. We believe that all of these Congress based on the accusation that are on the table should be held accountable for it. A lot of them have came out and apologized, but apology is not going to do it because a lot of people have been going through a lot of a lot of pain, a lot of hurt. Small business owners, medical people with medical issues, so they will call it casualty of war. But it's time for them to actually suffer and feel the pain in the same breath. So the fate of the Congress, it will be have to be placed in a international tribunal because of the immunity that they possess.
I have a question though. And you
Yes,
know me, I have to keep it real. I cannot be
yes,
fake,
of
right?
course.
And so one of the things that I asked, because if Congress already signed it, it went to the third debate, the president already signed it. Now you have to wait for the Supreme Court. Why are they still protesting knowing that you have to wait until the Supreme, not even protesting. Why are you still closing the streets off if everyone knows now you have to wait for the Supreme Court, and that's not going to happen for today or till tomorrow?
Okay, thank you for the question.
Of course.
They the Supreme Court is just standing. They brought up two words. In Spanish, it's called one is moratoria, and the other one is let me find moratoria, which would become like moratorium, where and
Um,
the other one is derogatorio, derogar.
Erase. And
Yes,
the other word is it's like putting something in on pause for a
and
certain amount of
hold and
time. Yeah.
pause. Yes, absolutely. So we are looking for derogar, totally erase off of the books. But they bring moratorium and they still are holding the company with the same license enacted might have an expiration for 20 years. So they don't want to touch the company and they want to allow the company to continue doing what they're doing for the next 20 years while the other companies that are not um, pay for the license, they will be forced to shut down. So if we have 10 mining companies, including Quantum, Quantum will be the only one still operating. The others will have to shut down based on what they just did. We want all mining to suspend on the land of Panama, on the Republic of Panama.
Okay, so basically it's because it only has to do with the what the document is for is only specifically for the Canadian company, not for all the mining companies. Is that what it is? If I'm not
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
okay, so the paperwork that the president signed is only for Quantum.
It is for all, but it does not affect Quantum until Quantum contract is over in the next 20 years.
Okay, so that's why I'm asking again. And I don't want you to take this personal. We're having a conversation, and
Of course, go
I'm
ahead.
asking questions that people want to know because these are questions that I don't. I listen. I'm all for protesting, right? I am all for protesting and fighting the power, but I'm not for people stopping people's liberty because as humans, we are not in a we're not in a dictatorship. We're not in a socialist country either. In no place, and I don't feel like people's rights should be taken away. You are telling me where to move, when I can move, how to move. I don't agree with that part. Right? Everybody has their reasons as to why they do their thing, but me personally, that part of it, I don't agree with, and I don't understand it. Right? And so my question is, if the documentation was already signed, why, and you know that the Supreme Court is going to take a certain amount of time to get to that, why are we still shutting down the streets? Why are we stopping people from eating? Why is that happening? Why isn't there like basic groceries? Because honestly speaking, and this is just for me, the politicians don't give a damn. The only people that are suffering from this, and me and you had conversation about this before. The only people that are suffering behind this part of it is the poor people, because they still gonna get their food. They still can go to River Smith and buy their $6 lettuce. They still can go to different places and purchase. But the regular person, the poor person, the people that may not have those means, they can't afford to buy lettuce for $6 or what's the other thing called again that you use to make coleslaw? What is it called?
Repollo.
Cabbage. Cabbage.
Yeah,
Cabbage right now is $6.50. The average person in Panama cannot afford to buy $6.50. So it's sad to me that the people that the most that are affected by it is the poor people. And so I just need an understanding as to why we you have to go to this route where people, the food is not being passed and the poor people are the ones that's suffering. Because at the end of the day, if I choose to go get I'm not rich, but if I want to buy $6 carriage, I could buy $6 carriage. But my cousins who live in Cologne, they're not buying $6 carriage cabbage. They don't even
that's
have rice. They don't have rice, regular food. Regular food they can't get because they're not allowing the food to pass. So I'm just trying to understand, and this is not me being, maybe it's something that I'm not understanding, and I'm asking these questions to understand, to be like, okay, well, maybe, but all I'm seeing with the closing of the streets and them not letting the food pass is poor people suffering at the end of the day. That's all
okay.
I'm seeing.
Yeah, it is true. It is true that a lot of people are hurt by the shutting down of the highway, shutting down of the roads, and then you have people that are vandalizing and doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and it's creating a really big cancer into the country. A lot of countries, and I will say that it's stemmed from years and years of corruption. I mean, we can go from back in 1989 and all the different groups, syndicates that stood up to try to fix things. Cologne is a prime example of the hurt that crooked politicians have done harm to our people. It's not even to the city itself. Now, I will say this because my position in my city, I stand as a voice, and I will always, always, forever use an example of the boycott on the bus of Alabama that started from Rosa Park. It took almost 133 days, and everybody just decided to walk. Even if you do civil disobedience, this sister, she just felt that enough, it was enough. And she wasn't gonna sit in the back of the bus because it was a law enacted. And in order to change the law in Alabama so that every black person had the right to sit wherever they choose, she had to sacrifice. So
Right.
if that mean that she had to walk from Colón to Panama, well, that's what everybody wanted to do behind her. We
Okay.
doing we doing a very strong, peaceful manifestation, but you have other elements that believe in force. Everybody doesn't have the same spirit. You have people that move in different ways. Some people think economically, some people think spiritually, and some people just go with a force that they wake up every morning. If you
Okay.
should have seen what these folks did today, I could say that Rosa Parks would be proud of these people. These people coming from a place where where they are getting on a small canoe and traveling at least 2 hours. Then they get in on a road where there is no bus to come to Colon. They bring their own fruits, their own vegetables. They bring wood to cook the food. They
Okay.
make a big pot of soup and they are standing posts and
Okay.
telling big industry that they are not going anywhere. And they
Okay.
shut down the road. I was there with them and I
Okay.
felt their spirit. So when these containers that are supposed to deliver goods to outside of the country because these are outsourced containers. These are not the containers that are coming from Chiriquí, but because these are farmers everywhere in the nation, they decided to do this unilateral because every single one of them, from the frontier of Costa Rica all the way to Darien, they are feeling the same pressure. So this is not just about quantum mining, it's a steam of different things that their voice never was heard. They never really captured the attention of these Congress that allegedly took money, and they've been taking money forever. One of the example that I placed on the table was that if you have in the South Borough of the province of Colón two prime school for minors, two in the past 50 years, and you never develop a third one or a fourth one, it means that you didn't want no one to further the education. So you never invested in the education of these children. So now today they living in Altos de los Lagos with no education, no public school, no hospital, and we just have to literally sit down and take it. So now you have everybody with a little bit of Rosa Parks say enough is enough. Either you
Okay.
change, either
Okay.
you
Hold
change
on.
the law, either you change the law so it can benefit our people. I know it's not the same
It's not
fight.
the same. It don't
It's
no,
not
not
the same.
it's not even about it not being the same fight. The thing about Rosa Parks is that she didn't like something, so they boycotted it, and everybody worked together to boycott it. Nobody was stopping people from free will. You know what I'm saying? Everybody still has free will. So basically, what I'm saying is there's a way to make a point. There's a way. There's a way to be loud without being destructive to yourself. And so I think some people, and I'm not saying all people, some people have a tendency of they will destroy themselves in order to make a
Absolutely.
point, and the point will still not be made because the person that you are trying to make the point to don't care about you. You know what I'm saying? So why are my whole thing is I get everything that you're trying to say, but my point is they walked great. It was beautiful, and I that part I'm not disagreeing with. I'm specifically talking about people blocking people from food, water, and shelter are basic human needs. That is basic human needs. So why are we stopping food, people from being able to go to the doctor, people from being able to get medicine? Why is that part of the protest? Like Martin Luther King would never do something like that. Rosa Parks would never do something like that. Um, I'm just trying to understand why the civil rights movement made an impact in America, and they didn't have to do all of that. And the next thing that I wanted to say is that again, the only people that's being affected are us because the diputados don't live in our neighborhoods. You're not blocking off the streets of where the diputados live, so they don't care if you are blocking your own street or stopping people from being able to go home because it doesn't affect them. And so all I want to know is what is the point of hurting yourselves in the midst or hurting the people, the poor people in the midst of trying to prove a point. Food is being thrown away. I'm seeing so much food just waste, carrots, vegetables just being dumped because they can't get to the location. So why not have a specific lane just for food if that's going to be the case? Food and medicine and for people to be able to get to the hospital. Why block the whole entire street or why do barricades of blocking the street to get your point across? The government don't care.
Well, they have taken measures in order to allow emergency vehicles to get by. They allowing medical supply to get by. Now, when it comes to food and some perishable items, some areas in the country they don't really care if it get waste. They don't really care if we are going in shortage of gas. They don't really care. And to understand why they feel that way, We have to be in those areas to see what these people are going through. If people at Cologne, because of what they have gone through, would have maybe a little bit of that same fight, our condition would change in Cologne. And I tell you this from the heart. We need tomorrow is going to be all hell break loose in this city. Because the reality is I'm not inciting for looting. I'm not inciting for no one to actually deprive another human being from health, shelter, or food. But I'm inciting for the better of this country and our city once and for all. Because it's not fair that this city, being the number one city that provide every other city with funds in order for them to grow, we are going through literally in the gutter more and more. You come to Cologne and you really swear that a bomb that we are still going through 1989 when they came and looked for Noriega, and it's not right. People here been working for over 5 years and they still do not have permanency. So they don't have the opportunity to continue saying, let me develop our family. And then when we hear that we have a mining in our city, because the mining is in Cologne, and what the mining should have been doing in order to keep the whole entire city of Cologne happy, and basically saying, let's do business. Let me bring in some brokers and let's see what we can do for the city and bring it up and let it have some kind of self-sufficient. But you are just taking every single piece of resource and just walking away with it and leaving the mess. Now you're seeing children are born deformed, people
Correct.
can't drink the water.
Yep.
So these are um, painful truth based on greed,
Correct.
because they know better. If they want us to do better and they hold the financial monopoly in order to further education or to do better hospital or to do better universities and excuse la redundancia, as we would say, then push this agenda. Don't stifle it.
Who are you saying that the government is supposed to push those agendas
Is a
or
is a collaboration between those who are own the company of mining and the government that go in there with a corrupt mentality.
okay, this
Because
is the problem. This is the problem. You know the welfare system because you lived in America, so you know how welfare works, right?
absolutely,
Anybody, the welfare system was created for people to depend on the government to keep them stifled so they can't go
absolutely.
anywhere. The problem is that when people start depending on government, you're always going to stay in that situation in life if you are solely depending on the government to be your life, your savior. In no country is any government going to push, oh, let's push education or let's push this. They're not going to do that because the whole point of government as a whole is to keep the poor people poor, the middle class, and the wealthy wealthy. That's democracy at the end of the
But
day.
it depends on what section of the government you're speaking of.
All government, all government. It doesn't matter what level of government. Whether if we're talking about the U.S., whether you're talking about Republicans, whether you're talking about Democrats, it's all the same thing. No government is meant to create winners because in order for democracy to work, you have to have poor, middle, and upper class, and the wealthy will always be wealthy, the poor will always be poor unless they want to get out of it and get out of that mindset, right? But that's how democracy works. If you ever lived in America, you know that that is how democracy works. Everybody cannot be rich, and this is just it's just sad reality. I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm not trying to be like I'm just not, right? But I'm just
Okay,
being a realist.
okay. In reality, democracy is not a law. The word democracy is like an opening statement to anyone who wants to go further into life and
Right?
say, I have an opportunity.
Right? But we're in a
So we use
a
the word.
democratic, but we're in that society. We're in a
See, we are a
democracy
republic.
society.
This is a republic, Democratic Republic of Panama. That's what it's called. So
What
if
is the
we want to,
government? What type of government is it led on?
it's Republican.
This is so it's not
Yes, it's
democratic.
a
People can't.
republic.
So
See,
people can't
republic.
vote. Do
See,
people vote?
republic. Okay, let me elaborate a little bit to this. When you speak of republic, you speak of a economical system that believe that they supposed to tax you and don't give you anything but what they believe is only needed. Now,
Sounds like Cuba, but
now
okay.
you present a constitution and says that our education is compulsory until you are 16
Oh my God.
minimum.
You
It
are
is. It
hold
is
on,
in the
not you, not
constitution.
you. I'm not talking about you. So let me
Right.
let me be very clear, okay? And this is with anybody because we're talking about real shit. And so anybody that comes on my shit talking shit is getting banned. So original black, you can kiss my ass because you're gonna get put on time. You're out. Bye. Continue.
Okay.
Sorry.
So so you have that in the US they enacted the welfare system. Panama never had public assistance in their
Correct.
life until the pandemic. When the pandemic came in, they started to give these bonus and people start getting a little comfortable with this 120. They started with $90 and they will give back to certain areas where they didn't have access to spend that bonus.
Allegedly.
So allegedly.
I'm gonna just say allegedly for you.
Well, they did give away this money, but you have people that was going from Panama Oeste like Chorrera, Chame, Gorgona, San Carlos, and going through all the way to Herrera, and they could not change the bonus, which it would have been the food stamp. They couldn't change it, so they was giving them bags of food. So
Hmm.
this was more of a relief help. So they wanted this to hold the country up so we can pass by what it was the pandemic. Now people got a little absorbed with receiving this little bit of money because you have a lot of people that been living without no kind of public assistance, and for the first time they start seeing something and they was getting into that habit. So our government decipher a system to move them, literally shift them to their favor because they are in office. They have the majority of the seat in Senate. So they are playing a chess move. Those who are very analytic, we as a people, we have all right to actually question government based on the actions, especially when they are doing things that is going to come back to hurt the majority of the people who are living here. When they started the mining, they started as Petaquilla Gold, and they had their first office in the intelligent building, which in Punta Pacifica. As soon as the Supreme Court declared that they was unconstitutionally running that mining, they changed the name, sold the stocks to a different company.
I like you, Delano. I like you a lot. I like you. Okay. I like you. I
So
like you.
so uh, in they use in America, well, in the English language they use the word circumventing the system. So they did circumvent the system, and by the time we caught up with the truth, we was already in a big mess because you have some Congress that was out there actually rallying behind the shutdown of this company or to hold them accountable for they doing, but they was not doing it because they believe the money was too good. Allegedly, as you would say, they did take money. They did
Hmm.
take it because you don't change a contract where you was making $3 million a year to start making $365 million a year. Just like that, you up the percentage. Just like that, you was taking that kickback a long time ago. They just brought it to the light now, and our people are just tired. And in if I may, in footnote, I will say this: when I'm out there with these people fighting, we don't stop anything that have to do with food, gas, medical supply. We do not do that. But all of the containers that have special interests that will send a message directly to those people who they are devoted to, because they are devoted to corporations. And these corporations have to understand they have to stop exploiting the people in all forms. And we are here today to tell them enough is enough. And they better come up with something new because we are not having it. We cannot continue to have a perpetual life sentence in this country when we are supposed to be free. We want a better nation. I want to see a better city. I want to see a better country. But it's not going to happen unless we take all of those people that found themselves in this mess, put the country in this mess, until they don't hold them accountable for what they did. Because we have very smart lawyers out there pushing that pen and paper right now to make an example of all of them that incurred in the demise of the country. You know, I really love the fact that you make some really valuable questions, and I would like to hear some more. If you want me to answer some more, I love it.
I'm still waiting for you to answer my question about why they blocking the food. Let me see. This
Well,
is a
why
let me see.
they are black? It's plain and simple. It's plain and simple. Anything that, if I don't have no weapons, and my only weapon it is to show strength by blocking the whole entire street, that's what I'm going to do. That's what they do. That's
At,
what we will do.
at the detriment of yourself. Not at
Sometimes,
yourself, at the detriment of your own
well,
people. Like people, it's like when people, like for example, when people protest and they go into their own neighborhood and burn down stuff in their neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? To this day, there's countries in the US that never recovered from protesting that way in their own communities from burning your own community down. That's my point. I'm like, why not go to where it's these people's neighborhoods? Why not go to areas like Costa del Este? Why not go to areas like Punta Pacifica? Why not go to areas like that where those are the people? I went to the mall today and everybody was happy go lucky como si nada.
absolutely,
Right. So instead of doing this in your own neighborhood, because those people don't care. And that's the only thing that I just don't understand because I'm looking at this and I'm just like, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Cero minera. I'm always going to back Panama 100% as a Panamanian. However, as a Panamanian, I will state that to me, that part of the protesting doesn't make sense to me. Denying people's basic human rights. Because what's going to end up happening is, and I'm going to knock on wood that it doesn't happen, people are going to end up starting fighting each other because somebody's going to get cabreado and then they're going to start fighting each other. And that's what the government wants. And then all of a sudden it turns into a socialist country.
absolutely. It's already happening. You know, you have a sector of people that will play the divide and conquer. And if we want to stand on the issue of the food, if we want to stand that all farmers supposed to continue to keep on working the land and bringing food to the people, then what kind of strike is this? You know, you have to show that the country. Personally, I would love for this country to have sanctions. Personally, I would love for international court tribunal put sanctions on the whole entire country and get it shut down until they start respecting the people that live in here. You know, the people who are wealthy in this country, very wealthy. We're talking about billionaires, hitting billionaires that should be doing their part in order to make this country grow and become the wealthiest Central American country there is. Because it's not a matter of just saying that, oh, look how beautiful Panama is, when you have a whole lot of people living like they was in Egypt with the whip on their back because they are. So reality is, if you want to technically in Cologne, we are not stopping people from getting food, medical attention, ambulance, and all of the things that are supposed to be the necessary things. I would not advocate people to run to no mall and spend no money when they really need to buy food, because we are in a state of emergency right now, and people need to wake up for that reality.
And that's the
We
point
are,
that I'm trying to make. We are in
well,
a state of
look, listen, I am being radical is not being radical without having a cause, without being. We are fed up. I am pissed off. Really and truly, I don't like what's going on in Cologne. But I'm not going to duck. I'm not going to run. I'm not going to deserve my people. Sometimes you got to go out there, and if my life is to be taken, then so be it. But I don't. I cannot stand and just continue to allow our government to continue doing what they're doing. Police
yes.
officers, commissioners walk up to me and say, "Can you allow these? Make them walk away because you got some people and doing some robbery over there, and they sticking up the people and all of that stuff." I'm like, okay, there are decisions to make. So I called the farmers and I said, listen, this is what we want to do. We want to let these containers go by, but these going to stay. And that started at 8 o'clock in the morning. And we was not moving not one brick until 6 o'clock this evening. And so it was, because is the reality of standing up for what you believe.
Okay.
Now,
I'm with you. I am with you 100%. But what I'm trying for you to understand and for everybody to see, while you're doing that, the rich people are living their lives. That is the point. They do not care what is going on in Colón. They don't care what's going on in Pacora. They don't care about what's going on in Paraíso. They don't care of what's going on in those neighborhoods. And this is the point that I'm trying to make you see. So yes, you have all rights to stand up and die behind what you believe in. But what happens when the message that you're trying to deliver is not being executed to the right people? And that is exactly what is happening. And that's what is happening. I'm looking at this play out, right? I was in the Black Student Union, so I'm very aware of Black history and I'm all for my Black people. But I'm looking at how this is playing out. And I'm looking and I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, okay, they're doing all of this is going on and you trying to send a message, but the people that you're trying to send a message to don't give a fuck, because if they cared, they wouldn't be in the mall buying clothes.
well, remember you and I said it before about the divide and conquer. You will have some people that are numb to that. You have some people that don't live the reality. They don't care about nobody else but themselves. But they are not the majority. They are not the majority. When I have to see the faces of black young people, it doesn't matter the race, really and truly. You have Chinese, you have Hindus, you have Arabs, you have Jews, good people walk in Cologne, and they have businesses and they just have to shut it down, and they say, you know what, I understand why they're doing it. So more people that are in the situation that those that you just mentioned over here, we have them too, and they understand, and they not, as they would say, they're not crying. They are in pain, but they're not crying. They say, we understand, go ahead and do your thing. They will stand in that line. Their cars cannot get by, and they just shut the car down and just wait.
Okay.
You know,
But the
because
people,
they decide to join. So now we will try at best to do our part so that they don't get harmed in no way. If they receive a call and they need to move and it's an emergency, we let them by. We don't act like we the police or we the best military force, insurgent in the world. It doesn't work like that. We are not savages. We don't want to become them. And when I mean them, is the oppressor, because we are being oppressed. We are being oppressed through economics. We are being oppressed through our own constitution. Now, we do not, and I say that, we do not have no intention of making our people go astray in this situation. We do not. But this is going to continue because we have a president that refused to be a president. What he did, he just called and said, you know what, we will take care of it in December 17th. What kind of answer is that? And you see your whole country going up in smoke. We are not burning buildings. We are not taking buildings down. There are a lot of looting. There are a lot of stealing. In every society, this happens. And there are measurements in order to restrain that. But those who are striking have a legitimate claim, very legitimate. And maybe, yes, a lot of food is being wasted. A lot of food is not getting there, especially to us. And I see your part because your feel is poor people need to eat. Poor people need to stay healthy. Poor people need a roof on their head. Poor people need education. Shit, poor people need everything. And the rich people who live in Costa del Este and in Coronado and Gorgona, they should have it. Believe me, they crying too. They can
Mm,
fake what they want to fake, but they crying too. Some of them wish they can get on a plane and leave. That's their business. We don't have no other choice. We got to stay here and fix this mess the best we can. And for those who decide to just say, well, hey, I made a mistake. I thought Panama was all that. Well, hey, listen, then bye.
word,
You know,
word.
but if you stay, just adjust, see the reality, stick with us, learn to drink a little soup sometime, eat a little yuca over here,
No,
and
tell them to just go. Bye.
yeah,
Just
or
leave.
go on with your business.
Just go. Just go.
Yeah,
Okay.
just go.
Me personally, you doing too much. Goodbye. Adios. Go away.
Gracias. Thank you for having me, baby. Listen,
You could
I
go.
will.
No, not you. I'm Oh
Okay.
my God. I'm talking about the people that you was like, oh, the people who was like, oh, I didn't think Panama was like this and all this stuff. I'm talking about them. They can leave. They
Yeah,
can go. They
they
can
can
buy.
go. You
They can
know.
go. They can buy. That's who I'm talking about. I'm not talking about um you per se. But
Okay. Okay.
yeah, so I like to have these type of conversations because I admire you. We have sometimes we agree, sometimes we have to agree to disagree.
Thank
It
you.
wouldn't be a
Likewise.
it wouldn't be a conversation if I was the type of person to agree with everything that you say because then it wouldn't be me.
Correct.
There are points that you made that I think that were valid, but there's still points that I just think this doesn't make any sense to me. And we're just gonna have to agree to disagree that particular that point. But I do agree with everything else. It's just that one point that I don't that I'm not for. And I'm just saying. So
Right.
anyway, go ahead. Say a lot. You could close it up because I
Okay.
gotta go.
Well, I will say this, right? Um, just to be a little as they would say devil's advocate with this. Quantum mining company came into a country and they realized that there is a lot of wealth in it. They are mining for three minerals: gold, copper, and silver. But they came along and they found an extra mineral that will surpass these three minerals that I mentioned. And that mineral is called cobalt. Cobalt is just happened to be the most important mineral that will continue to produce computers, car panels, and so forth. But they do not pay taxes on that material. They just taking that material.
Right,
They
exactly.
walking away with tons and tons of that material. And by the time we find a way to actually hold them accountable to pay taxes on that material that they've been taking, it's going to be too late. So you
Correct.
stealing. That is called stealing. So we want honesty from them. We not going to get it. So we have to say, listen, we need better supervision.
Right.
Our country need to invest into experts that can come in, and hopefully these experts are not under the take, and they can do a honorable job. You know, to find honorable and honest people to do the right thing for their salary and don't feel that they entitled to a little bit more. It's like forget that chip of entitlement because you are getting paid well for your profession. Why you got to take a little bit more? And I
Yeah.
believe that if you do that, you stealing, and the law is supposed to do something with you.
Right.
No, you need to be facing a court of law because you stole. So when the court of law is taking a kickback in order to look the other way, the people have to stand up because we are the ones that actually own this country. The number one resource in any nation is the people. It's the hand labor of the people. You have 40,000 people working in there. If they decide to put hands down, the company does not move.
Right.
We're not going to allow them to send a contract outside of this nation and bring foreigners to work in this country when we are here and we are the one who need the money. If we're going to stay and we want to work with you, you have to work accordingly. You got to
No,
have
they can't stay because
no,
if
no.
it's going to affect the environment, is affecting sick people. It's making people sick. It's making children be born
It's
with
born, of course,
deformities. So that shouldn't even be a conversation. It shouldn't even be
of
a
course.
conversation at all. They have to
But you
go
have people,
point blank
but you
serious.
have people out there that the same way you would defend the fact that the food is very important for everyone
Yes.
to have. You have people that are out there that they believe that it's very important for this company to remain because they like the little dollars, the nickel and dime that this company is giving them,
Right.
and they are so confused. So if we put it on a balance, there's more people that really want that company out.
Right.
So at this point, that's what they doing on the street because we are more who are saying you got to go. As we speak in Canada, they open an indictment on that company.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Because
they are literally on fire. They don't know what to do. And once they found them unconstitutional by what they was doing, is no lawsuit coming back to Panama. In matter of
right.
fact, they owe Panama.
Right.
So Panama don't have nothing to be afraid of. I hope Congress just do what they're supposed to do, and they are trying to circumvent the system because they know they will be held accountable for what they did, and nobody want to go to jail. Not when they millionaires. Well, they going to jail.
Wow, there. You see, y'all drawing. I specifically, when I started this live, I specifically said I did not want to talk about it. I was not going to talk about it. But here we
Yeah,
are
it's
talking about it. I specifically was like, we're not going to talk about it. I was so involved in it that it was starting to take up my entire life. And it was like making me depressed and all kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, we're not going to talk about it. But we spoke about it. We're gonna end it here. Okay. Everything is alleged again. Just in case you don't gotta cover yourself. And we will continue this conversation as everything unfolds because clearly this is gonna be going on for a little bit of time until the Supreme Court um do what the Supreme Court has got
make
to
a
do.
ruling, make a ruling, of course.
Right. So anyway, let me know in the comment section what you think. I had to block a couple of people from my page and also for leaving stupid ass comments in the comment section. So you will be blocked and you can never write anything again on this page at all. Um you are not in the place to talk about Panama in a negative light at all. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all, or just keep your judgments and whatever you have to say in America because we don't want you here either. So yeah, to everybody else who um is Panamanian, everybody else who supports the channel, everyone else who is just basically trying to learn about what's going on without being judgmental. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for rocking with me. You guys are freaking awesome. And es fiesta patria, entonces, ¿qué vamos a decir? Que viva Panamá, right?
That's right. That's right. Viva el
So,
5 de noviembre.
ah! So it was
Uh,
cool. It was cool. I hope you guys learned something. Okay. And I hope you don't think I was too hard on you, but you know, I got to ask these hard questions.
shoot, baby, shoot, shoot, shoot.
Okay. So
Okay,
we'll continue this conversation sometime next week. I would say after, after next week, because you know there's always some drama going on in Panama. It's a novela. This is a novela, and I'm just waking up like, okay, what chapter are we on at this point? All right. So I'm gonna keep this video up so you guys can go back and watch it, and I'm gonna put like stamps on there because the first 45 minutes, we were really talking about nothing. It didn't really get juicy until Delano came on the scene.
I,
Okay, because y'all
I,
just want to talk about, you guys want to talk about the protest and you want to talk about the mine so bad. So here you got it. All
okay,
right. Oh, let me
okay.
read the comments. I was like, thank you both. This important topic is allegedly for the better outcome. Amen. Thank you. Praying for Panama. Yes. And to all my Panamanians that's out there, happy Fiesta Patria. And yeah, so that's that. Later,
That's
Delano,
right.
I'll call you when I'm in the car because I gotta go pick up
All
my
right.
child.
All
Bye.
right. Thank you. Bye bye. Thank
We
you.
are on the Donde está Corina chapter. Ah! Bye, guys.
Bye bye.